Hey guys, it's Christy with Zen 10 Lotus Tarot, and I just wanted to come to you tonight for a reading. It's going to be a general collective reading. See what signs come out. I have no idea what this is going to be about. I just drew some, one of my favorite oracle decks, the Rumi Oracle deck, just to see what came out, what kind of healing we're going through at this time. And that kind of gauges where this reading may go. So we'll get a little glimpse of what's to come in this reading. So I hope you'll stay with me through that process. If you're here, please don't like, or subscribe to my channel. That helps me tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. You can always give me some love in the donation section. My Cash App is down below in the description box. Whatever you'd like to do to help support this channel is so appreciated. It's still Mercury retrograde, in case you didn't know, because that's why I can't speak and sound like I need a speech therapist. So yeah, that's how this is. Yeah. Okay, so the card I chose is it's called I Surge on the Uprising Wave of Love. I just love this deck. The illustrations are amazing, and I don't always know exactly like what I'm looking at, but 9 times out of 10 when I read the description in the book, the picture is just exactly what the card is saying, and it's like, okay, what can you get out of this card with this drawing, you know what I mean? But it's just amazing how the drawing goes just perfectly with the meaning of the card. And so I just want to start you out with this poem. You know, this deck is about Rumi, who was a spiritual leader and non-denominational, but almost like a prophet, or was considered like a prophet. It's very interesting. You can look it up if you need to, but he was a poet, wise, you know, and lived from a heart space always, through God, through the angels, through his ancestors, and shared that love with everybody. You know, there was no limit to the love that he gave. And so his poetry is just beautiful. And the poem that goes with this card is, my life can be summed up in 3 accounts. I was raw, I was cooked, and I was burned. I get chills every time I read it, because it's like, who can't identify with that poem? I was raw, I was cooked, and I was burned. You know, at every point in our life, we go through cycles, right? Cycles of good, cycles of bad, cycles of things we do want, things we don't want. All of it serves a purpose. There is no mistakes, you know, nothing just happens. Let me say that again. Nothing just happens. God reveals things to redeem us, to enlighten us, to ascend us, to open our eyes of the importance of taking every piece of our life and learning from it, good or bad, you know? And so if you are in a time frame where you're being raw, what does that teach you about you? You know, how does that ascend you? How does that help you to live from a heart space? Being raw and open and real is probably the most perfect example of living from a heart space, right? And in that endeavor, we can get cooked and burned, you know? And what did we learn in that experience, you know? Did we learn to build walls? Did we learn to step back? Did we learn to use our sword of discernment to decide who we are raw with, you know? Did we cut people out of our lives because of that, for being cooked and burned? I don't know, and it's like, but every piece of our story, every moment, every cycle that we've been through serves a purpose for the greater good, for our highest self, for our enlightenment, for our ascension or descension, Is that a word? I don't know. Look at me making up words. I don't even know. But like, or our regression, that's a better word that I know is in the dictionary. So we'll stick with that. So we can either ascend or regress. And every day it's a choice. It's never not a choice. We decide what we do with our life. We decide what story we continue on. We decide. I just got the vaccine, whatever. And so now I'm feeling a little COVID-y. So my mind's a little foggy tonight. And I'm a little sleepy, and I napped as soon as I got home from work. And I mean, now my voice sounds a little funny, but I just, I don't even know why I just told you that. See, raw. This is me, raw. Anywho, we decide in that process every day. We have a choice on how we're going to live. How do we live? How do we decide? How do we choose? What things do we do? How long do we allow a cycle to continue? Is it a cycle of toxicity? Is it a cycle of success? Is it a cycle of learning? Is it a cycle of growing? Is it a cycle of regressing? We have a choice every single day. And Spirit is saying in that card that, cycles come into our life for a purpose. There's no mistakes in it, but we always do have choices, and we always will have consequences in those choices. You can't have one or the other. You can't make choices without realizing or understanding or finally gauging the repercussions of our choices and actions and behaviors, and what we do in that cycle, what we do with the information that we gain in that cycle, what we do during that cycle, And so it's like, we always have a choice. There will always be consequences, good or bad, And so this card is encouraging you that fear, right, can keep you stuck in a regression rather than an ascension. Fear of living raw so you don't get cooked or burned, Simple as that, because maybe you have been cooked and burned in the past, and that's understandable. We all have our own traumas, we all have our own sufferings, we all have our own demons, demons literally that are that we've allowed to attach themselves to us in some way. And it's like awareness of those things that keep you in a cycle of regression is the first step in overcoming anything. It's like, would you rather, you may not want to work through this cycle in order to ascend, because ascension is climbing. It's hard work. It's effort. It's time. It's energy. It's not procrastination. It's not lollygagging. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's carrying that bag of rocks, those 10 wands, whatever, up a hill in your bare feet in the snow. P.S. It's about to be 29 degrees tomorrow. I got my garden covered and everything with blankets. I don't know what's going on in Florida. what the heck? Anyhow, side story. But anyway, yeah. Would you rather take that bag of wands up a hill, and let's say this, okay? You're on a, excuse me. Thank you, Spirit. Thanks for the burp. Thanks for letting me know I'm on the right path with this story. If you are on a path of ascension, right? It takes and requires hard work. It takes carrying that bag of rocks to build, you got to climb that hill to build something stable for yourself. And so, would you rather complain and hate and regress and go backwards when at the top of that mountain, at the top of that hill, at the precipice, you can see the most beautiful sunset your eyes have ever laid that you've ever laid eyes on? The most beautiful view of a mountainside with waterfalls and rainbows and sunshine, and when you get to the top of that hill, when you're starting to ascend and you have climbed and you've done all that work and you've been raw and you've lived from that heart space in order to get you there, are you gonna complain about the trip up? Are you gonna complain and see every terrible thing there was to go on in that cycle of time that it took you to climb that mountain, or to overcome that obstacle, or to ascend to the next level in your ascension, your spiritual awakening, your getting closer to you, getting closer to God, getting closer to living from a heart space of love? No, you have a choice, don't get me wrong. And that's my point, is that we can choose to see the good that has come from our journey in overcoming anything, or we can choose to see every rock we stumbled on, every pothole we twisted our ankle on, every time our shoe, our hiking shoe wore a blister on our toe. And we can choose to complain and hate, excuse me, the process of having to strain our back, and carry everything on our shoulders at some point. We can choose to be resentful. We can choose to be angry. We can choose to make bad decisions in how we see things. It's all about our perspective, right? We can choose to continue to tell the same story that actually stumbles us on our path and regresses us down the path. It's when we're in that mindset of fear, worry, anxiety, anger, bitterness, that keeps us in a low vibration. That keeps us regressing. That keeps us on that cycle of shit for way longer than we have to be on it. It's a choice. You know what I mean? What are you doing? How are you living? What are you talking about? And again, I'll say it. If you're low vibrational, you will only attract low vibrational things. That's bad experiences. That's bad luck. That's the black cloud that hangs over your head. It's the self-fulfilled prophecy of shit that you create in your mind and with your mouth. So be careful what you're thinking. Be careful what you're speaking. Be careful what you're how you're living. What are you doing in this cycle? That's creating more of things you don't want, things you don't need, things you don't have to carry, things you don't need to worry about terrible consequences because of, if you're living right, if you're speaking truth, if you're raw, if you're real, if you're living from a heart space of love at all times, even in those moments where there's hard truths, even in those moments where you've been burned and cooked, even in those moments where the cycle is not going in your favor. In those moments, can you say, are you capable of still living from a heart space and keeping your integrity in who you are, regardless, you know, regardless of whatever it is that you're facing during this cycle? That's the only way to ascend out of it and to close up shit cycles. So evaluate you. And that's the only person you should ever be evaluating. You know what I mean? Like, it's you versus you. It's not you versus everybody else. It's not you versus Joe down the road who has more than you. It's not you versus Sheila over, whatever that you work with who is prettier than you. It's not you versus anybody but you. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, how are you living? What within you could be tweaked, could be changed, could be altered, could be uplifted, could be living more raw and real and from a heart space of love, regardless of whatever it is you're dealing with on that path of ascension to a higher vibration, so that you can then start to attract the things in your life that you want, that deep down in your heart and soul you want. And it's the good, it's the love, it's the health, it's the abundance, the happiness, the calmness, that peace, that no more anxiety. Because when you're living raw and real and from a heart space, there's not a whole lot you have to remember, because there's nothing to remember. You've not done anything that has caused you to have to backpedal or to rethink how you're going to respond in a moment, or think, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're living from that real raw heart space at all times, there's nothing else to remember. It's just being who you are from a heart space at all times. And so the consequences of that is peace, harmony, balance, groundedness, ascension, abundance, excitement, fun, fulfillment, anything that you can dream of, and it starts with a you versus you question. What are you gonna do today? How are you gonna live today? How are you going to ascend today? What will be the view that you're gonna, what story are you gonna tell today about your journey that could possibly inspire others in their own journey of ascension, in their own journey of living from a heart space, in their own journey of kindness, in their own journey of peace, in their own journey of relaxation, in their own journey of learning and growing and evolving to something that they desire, That's that card. It's like, put down the fears, put down the walls, that you've created. Because here's the thing: if you want the moon, you can't turn away from the moon. You can't turn your back on it. You can't look away. All that is regression, and lack mentality. If you want the moon, you got to work for the moon. You got to go for the moon. You got to be passionate about the moon. You got to gaze at that moon and, admire the moon and live from that heart space of love and knowing why you want the moon, what's your goals? What's your aspirations? What inspires you to go after and to live not from a fear space and a head space, but a heart space of taking in that view when you get to the top of that crazy ass mountain you just climbed, and not talking about the journey on how, how hard it was to carry all those things up the hill, and how much work you had to put in that process of, you know, looking out over that mountainside at the beauty that you created and you built for yourself. So Spirit says, God reveals things to redeem. So if it's a bad cycle for you, keep climbing, keep ascending, keep being raw and real, keep living from a heart space, no matter what's going on around you. And now use your sword of discernment if you have to in deciphering what things keep you on a shit cycle and regressing, and what things keep you moving forward in an ascension process of being at your highest best self, your most realized self, your most fulfilled self, your most peaceful self, your most calm self, your most loving self, loving, biggest thing. So yeah, that's that card. So that's the kind of healing we're going through. This was the second one that came out, and I won't go into huge detail of it, but I just have to say on here how cool it is, because I don't know, even this morning as I woke up in the morning for work, it was like I was called to pray heavily, and I prayed a lot today. But the prayer that called to me was, the Hail Mary. And I don't know if I was channeling my grandma heavily, because my grandma never not had a rosary in her hand, rubbing that thing and hoping everything was okay for our family. And, it didn't matter what it was that we were going through. That was her go-to prayer, and gosh, I mean, she's rubbed rosaries like this woman was a saint. But anyways, she, yeah, I was just called to pray the Hail Mary a lot today. And so it just goes to show you that, like, when you're living from a raw, real heart space, your intuition begins to open up to the point that you are guided on the right path. You will start to listen to your intuition more. You will start to guide yourself on a path of less rocky growth, less rocky growth. That's the best way to put it. Less being burned and cooked, and more being raw and real and loving, So I don't know, but Victory of Miriam is about the Holy Mother Mary telling you that, there's victory on your side, and whatever it is that you're dealing with at this time, you are going to get through that cycle, that tough cycle, and it's a victory for you to get through that. So just keep doing what you're doing, keep praying, keep meditating, keep protecting your energy at all costs. And I mean, how do you protect your energy? Well, notice. That's the first thing. When you notice if your energy is going down and not up, if you're not happy, evaluate your surroundings. That's the first step. Awareness. Evaluate what you're doing that is creating that feeling of regression instead of ascension. Is it old habits? Is it old behavior patterns? Is it people? Is it things? Is it places? Is it throat chakra? Is it outside factors? Is it something that you can control? Meaning, is it something that you have a choice about in the matter? So, like, do you have a choice of who you're surrounding yourself with? Yes. Every moment of every day. Do you have the ability to change behavior patterns? Yes, every day. and we have the ability to realize that with every choice we make there comes consequences, and so we evaluate those consequences and see, do I want to continue this pattern of behavior, or do I want to change it before the consequences are something I am incapable of fixing? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you just have to evaluate your surroundings. You are literally a combination of the 5 people that you surround yourself with on a daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis or whatever. So evaluate your people. Evaluate what you're feeding your body with, your temple. What are you feeding your mind with? What are you speaking? Speaking, you know, that has consequences. P.S. Just be careful that you're not putting yourself on your own shit path or your own shit cycle. What actions are you doing that could put you on a shit cycle? What behaviors are you doing that could put you on a shit cycle? You just have to evaluate. It's you versus you. Nobody can change you. You always have a choice in the matter. And, it's a decision that you have to make. That's it. So, if you're feeling like you're on that shit cycle, you have to evaluate you, and that's it. You can't evaluate others. You can't say what others are doing wrong around you. You can't, well, this is this, and this is this, and this. No, what about you? What within you needs changed? Because you're the only person that can change your reality. You're the only person that can decide. You're the only person that chooses every single moment of your life how you're going to live. How do you want to live? Do you want to continue on a shit path? Do you want to ascend? It's really up to you. I don't know. So that's my story. So we're going to just throw down some cards and see what comes out. And I'm not sure what sign this message is for. If it's for everybody, I'm feeling more of a collective reading. Show me what I need to see today that can help anybody that's on a path, in a cycle. Let's see. Yeah. Transformation, victory, passion, stability. That's the cycle you want right now. Death is about rebirth. It's about transformation. It's about energy transmutation, meaning going from an energy of living a certain way, right? But then choosing instead to ascend instead of regress. And that's transformation. That's taking something that was once before and transforming it into something new. And we always have a choice, don't we? In whether or not we decide to stay the same or change, right? This is all about change. And it's like victory, recognition, triumph, celebration, because you're transforming, because you're making a change consciously in your life, because you're making those choices every single day to live from a heart space, from being raw and real and loving and who we are, who God created us to be on this earth. Kindness, sharing, caring, giving, whatever it is. But it's that transformation leads to triumph, leads to recognition, leads to, everything that you could want for your life. Happiness, fulfillment, And you are so passionate about this, right? This change, this transformation, because you know that it's going to lead to your stability long term. You know that it's going to lead to your 10 of Cups, the everything, the happiness, the wish fulfillments, the self-actualization, where all your cups are filled, all your boxes are ticked, all your dreams coming true, we can't fear change, we have to embrace it, embody it, and go within to learn how to transform ourselves. What is stopping us? What is blocking us? what is being fed to us from others that keeps us in a headspace, you know, sometimes. And I don't know, I'm just feeling this. Yes, healing. Look, bottom of the deck. Let's wait and see what the cards say, because I don't like to jump ahead, but you know, I do that sometimes, don't I? So let's just see. Clarify the Six of Wands. Clarify the Six of Wands. Yes, living from a heart space, living from a space of love at all times, giving that cup of love out freely. You know, not free, I shouldn't say freely. That was very, I take that back. Discerning that cup of love. But the first person that gets that cup of love is you know, yourself. Going within, loving yourself enough to know that you want better for yourself, you know, that you deserve better for yourself, that you're worthy of so much love, you know, and giving yourself that love first, because you can't give love out to anybody if you don't have a full cup in your own, you know, if you haven't filled your own cup first. You can't give love to anyone in that if you're empty, right? And what keeps you empty? Evaluate it, you know? And this, living from that heart space of love and giving that out, and being real and raw and open, and being willing to be burned and cooked and everything else, because you just know that it doesn't matter, because you're protected, because you're always living from your heart space, you know? You're always living from that space of being real and raw and loving, you know, because that's who you are. You're the Queen of Cups, yo. Full of love. You're just full of it. You're ready to give it out, right? But you got to be careful who you give it to. You know, make sure you give it to you first. And this will lead to you moving into calmer waters for yourself, you know? That journey up that hill of ascension and living from your best possible self it's calm where you're going, you know? Calm waters, on your kayak, in the sun, you know what I'm saying? Getting a tan, you know, drinking a smoothie on the ride, whatever it is. It's like, it's peace. It's peace. And if you've ever lived in a cycle of chaos and conflict and confusion and crisis and everything, and we all have, we know we have, right? Because it's all about our growth and learning process. But if you're in one of those cycles, you know what it means to be in calm waters. You know how great that feels in comparison, right? That instead of being on a canoe in the ocean where you're just, and water's crashing on you and things are falling and you're flipping over in the boat and, you know, like get salt water up your nose. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm thinking of my grandpa in that scenario, and any of my family will know the story I'm talking about. But anyways, just, you know, you want to be in that state of calm and moving to clear water and just sailing, you know, just looking at the view and feeling inspired and feeling loving and wanting to share that love with others, you know? Because yeah, you've been in this cycle of being stuck in your head, feeling in a mental prison almost, you know, of fear and worry and anxiety and depression and just feeling like you don't know what is right and wrong. And here's the deal. You have to go within. You have to evaluate, what are your fears and why are they there? Are you creating them? Is it an illusion? Is it people influencing you with lies and gossip and deception? Is it evaluate? You have to go within. It's you versus you, you know? That's it. Where's your faith? Where's your, how are you living? What can you change? What can you tweak? What things can you do to pray, to protect yourself? How can you protect your own energy so that all those things that create you to be in that mental prison can't cause you any pain or fear or worry or being cooked or burned ever again? because you are the creator of your own reality. You are. You get to decide. You get to decide how you live. It's a choice. That's it. Use your intuition. That gut feeling when you wake up and or when you're in a situation and you get that gut feeling that, hey, this ain't the right idea. Something's wrong. Something's off. Listen. Listen to the signs and synchronicities that the universe and God and the angels give you. You know, that protection. You have free will. You know, you can't take away anybody's free will. I mean, you can with crazy shit, and good luck to you if you try and do that, you know, but I'm just saying, everybody has free will. So, but God and the angels and the ancestors, your protectors, your guardian angels, they will always give you intuition, those nudges, those pokes, those pinches, those flicks. You know, sometimes they're big flicks, you know, like, dude, wake up. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you open your eyes, you know, to what's going on around you? You know what I mean? And and sometimes they're like, push you over the cliff. Like, listen, I'm going to push you over this cliff so you fall, so you know that you should have listened to your intuition. You know what I mean? And this is cycles. These are cycles of our life. But we have this beautiful, beautiful intuition to guide us, you know, to live from that heart space and listen and to see and to evaluate ourselves in that process. And you're manifesting, you know, you have to realize that in every moment, you are manifesting your reality. You're the creator. So your actions, your thoughts, your behaviors, your words, your interactions, your surroundings, your environment, what you're feeding your brain with, what you're feeding your body with, what your routine is, how you live manifests anything that you're gonna attract. So you live in high or you live in low, yo. You gotta evaluate. What do you want? What do you want to get? You want to be raw and get real and bring in real things, real tangible, loving, great, wonderful things? Or are you going to be low vibrational and manifest things that you don't want deep down, but you just can't figure out how to end that cycle of shit? I'm here to tell you, it's a you versus you process, and that's it. But you will manifest whatever it is, however you're living. Living good, manifest good. Living bad, manifest bad. And I mean, that's what teaches us on how to go within and realize those things within us that need healed, right? Because yeah, you may be experiencing a lot of chaos, conflict, confusion, competition, gossip, pettiness, just shit cycle. You know, this is like 5 people in your energy possibly, you know, that you've been experiencing like some chaotic shit with, and maybe it's just outside of you, you know, but you're starting to realize and you're starting to move away from, as fast as possible, anything that causes this conflict, confusion, and chaos in your life, because you know that all that does is manifest more of it. When you continue that cycle, it just manifests more of it. So you have to end it. You have to move as fast as possible away from it. And that will cause a tower moment for a lot of people, right? Maybe it'll cause a tower moment for you because you're like, wow, you know, it's an epiphany that I now realize that I have control over however I'm manifesting. Whatever I'm bringing into my reality is my creation. I'm the creator. There's nobody to blame but me, you know? And that does cause a tower moment. That's a boom. Like, wow. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that the only person I can blame is me? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I need to change. I need to heal. I need to figure this out because I want to ascend. I want to be in a good space. I want to manifest all this great, wonderful things into my life. So it's me that has to change, you know? And it's a slow process, sometimes turtle pace. But guess what? The turtle wins, in case you never knew and read that story as a kid. And I'm here to tell you, I loved that story because I hated to run as a kid. If I was running, you should run too, because I didn't like to run as a kid. Whatever I was running from, you better run too. I'm just saying. And it's this patience, you know? Patience in knowing that divine timing is at play, you know? The angels are protecting you. See that angel around them? It's like, yeah. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes tempering of our own energy of imbalance, right? It means that we want to bring balance into the situation. We want to feel that calm and peace and comfort. But Spirit is saying you need to realize that, like, you are always having the ability to ask for faith and help, and, you know, ask for God's hand in the matter, ask for your angels' help in the matter, call on your ancestors, you know, for protection. Whatever it is that is whatever it is that you desire to end a bad cycle in your life, you have the ability to create balance in your life. Patience, you know. Yeah. What is some advice? You may have experienced situations in your life, and maybe this is a cycle where you're feeling like there are 10 swords stabbing in your back. And if that's the case, I am so sorry that you're dealing with that. But Spirit is saying, like, you know, take off the mask of illusion and understand that you can change your life story at any moment in time by going within, you know? Like, is there anything that I could do in this matter to make things better and not worse? You know, we've all been raw, we've all been cooked, we've all been burned, but healing is happening at this time for you. Get rest, get hydrated, surround yourself with positive people, reach out for help if you need it. The angels are on your side, you know, in that healing process. There's nothing to fear anymore. There's nothing to worry about anymore when you ask for God's help and the faith that it requires, and understanding that it takes time to heal. I hope this has helped you in some way. Yes, look, and it leads to your 10 of Pentacles, you know. That's your stability, your happiness, your abundance, your legacy, your health, your wealth, your excitement, your fun, your everything. So pray, protect yourself. Know that you're worthy, number one, you know, and that you deserve to be this happy, surrounded by, just look at that little girl. She's so cute. You know, you deserve happiness, and it's a you versus you process in that endeavor. So go within, and yeah, there's all kinds of signs on the table, so I'm going to do a collective on this, and I'm sorry this video was so long, but I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night, and I'll be coming to you soon. Have a great night.